أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا ما يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. لقد من الله على المؤمنين إذ بعث فيهم رسولا من أنفسهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. الحمد لله اتقوا الله يا عباد الله. As Muslims in the 21st century, we are fighting many battles. There are battles that are happening on the battlefield with our brothers and sisters in Palestine and in Lebanon. SubhanAllah, a brother came to us the other day and he informed us he lost three or four of his family members in Lebanon. These are real battles that we are seeing with our own eyes. And there are battles and struggles of differing degrees. There are battles that are happening in the education system, the corruption of the education system, what our children are being taught. We're hearing, years of indoctrination. We're hearing now stories where things are happening in school and that the father or the mother attempts to put a stop to it and they are taken to court for merely wanting their kids to be taught a certain thing. And then there are battles that we all experience and go through on a day-to-day basis, looking away from haram, waking up for Fajr. These are struggles. These are battles that we all experience. And when you go to battle, when you're on the battlefield, you have to bring the correct weaponry. The classic saying is, you don't bring a sword or a knife to a gunfight. What would happen? It would be, lights out in a matter of moments. We're seeing now a new phenomenon in the sporting world, where you have MMA fighters stepping into a boxing ring. It happened years ago with a famous American and Irish fighter, and it's happened more recently. Now, if an MMA fighter steps into a boxing ring, he has, or let's flip that. Sorry, if a boxer was going to step into an MMA ring, he's going to have no chance, because there are so many weapons that the MMA fighter has in his arsenal that the boxer will not be able to protect himself against. Now, as Muslims, we have tools, we have weaponry, we have the Quran, okay, we have the Sunnah, we have a rich intellectual tradition, and these are the tools we have in our arsenal to fight and push back against the struggles in the modern world. But are we using these tools correctly? Most Muslims have spent 15 to 20 years in a Western education system. They haven't studied a basic book in jurisprudence, in legal theory, in purification of the heart, and they're attempting to fight these battles in the modern world. Many Muslims think they are using the Quran and Sunnah as a means to defend this religion and bring light to the world, but for the most part, they use it as a stick to whack people over the head with. If you look at the YouTube generation now, we have a generation of intellectual influencers who for the most part spend a lot of their time destroying and not building. Okay, it's very easy to break and destroy, but it's very difficult to build. So as a community, as an ummah, we need to think about how we're going to not just destroy the ideas that are threatening us and our children, but also how we're going to build for the next generation. أقول واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين اتقوا الله يا عباد الله. Malcolm X famously said that the Western education system has ended up in a cul-de-sac, a dead end, and this was what 60, 70 years ago when he made this statement. Our rich intellectual scholastic tradition is unparalleled in history. We have a number of great men and likewise great women who have graced this earth and were very much builders. What they gave in their time, in their effort, how they spent their wealth, how they spent their time was for the benefit of this ummah and this generation. And the up-and-coming generation of young Muslims, we need to ask how we're going to spend our time, how we're going to spend our wealth. If you look at the younger generation now, and obviously everyone has to earn a living, okay, you have to get a job, and we understand that. But how are we going to build? What are we going to put forth? We have, great scholars, the likes of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, the great Shafi'i Imam. At the age of 9, he had memorized the Quran. Then he memorized the Alfiyah of Iraqi, and the amount of the books that he wrote and he authored for the benefit of this ummah, Imam Nawawi, all these great scholars. Now, of course, we need Muslims that are in every field. We need physicians, we need doctors, we need engineers. But now we have a disproportionate amount of people going into these sciences, this type of knowledge, and not into the Islamic sciences. When I was studying in Yemen, one of my teachers said to me, he said that all of the top students in Yemeni like state schools, the government schools, those who get 90% and above, they all get sent to Oman or to Turkey, right, to become doctors and engineers, and that's nothing wrong with that. But if that's where all the intelligent students are going, and none of them are going to the ma'ahid to study with traditional scholars, then how are we going to provide enough spiritual light and intellectual light for the next generation? So as much as we can, we need to attempt to be builders and not destroyers. And that happens first and foremost in the home, building our homes. Our homes should be places of dhikr, places of remembrance, places of the Quran. When you're coming to the masajid, try your best to support the little the halaqat, the circles of knowledge that are going on. This is how we build. If you look at the first 3 years of da'wah, there was a time where there was only 40 Muslims in the first 3 years. Okay, learning with the Prophet ﷺ in Dar al-Arqam and these other little places. And this was not insignificant. So as best we can, we need to do our best to build for this next generation, insha'Allah ta'ala. Allahumma aghfir للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.